Hello to everyone on YouTube and welcome to Review For You. In today's film, Britain's favourite spinster is back in Bridget Jones Baby.
Good God, Bridget, you're immense.
This is a two-man job.
Don't drop her.
Which of you is the father?
I am.
Right.
12 years after the release of the disappointing second film, The Edge of Reason, this third installment in the romantic comedy series sees original movie director Sharon Maguire return alongside Renee Zellweger, Colin Firth and newcomer Patrick Dempsey. Taking place 5 years after the second film left off, 43-year-old Bridget is single once again and trying to press on with life without love. When she meets an American matchmaker named Jack and then encounters her ex-boyfriend Mark Darcy the night after, she has consecutive one-night stands with each of them. Soon after, Bridget discovers that she's pregnant, and during the months that follow, she has no idea of who the father is or who she wants it to be. After the second film ended by leaving its doors open for further installments, there has been a couple of ways in which Bridget's story has continued. Helen Fielding began in 2005 by writing a series of columns for the Independent newspaper. Then when production of this film commenced in 2009, it ran into years of setbacks, disagreements and delays, during which time Fielding published a third Bridget Jones novel, Mad About the Boy. While the book was not badly received, it did seem to upset a lot of people. But fortunately for them, this film is not based on that story, but instead is loosely based on the aforementioned newspaper columns. And now that Bridget is finally back on cinema screens, her latest outing is certainly an enjoyable one. As well as the title character, this movie also marks the end of a lengthy hiatus for its leading lady, as Renee Zellweger returns for her first feature film appearance in 6 years. During her extended absence, she's faced a lot of unfair and downright mean-spirited scrutiny regarding her appearance, but she wonderfully triumphs over her hiatus and critics here, returning to her most iconic role like she never left. Colin Firth is great once again in reprising his role as Mark Darcy, while Patrick Dempsey makes for very appealing support as a potential new love interest for Bridget. Dempsey has quite a heavy weight on his shoulders here as he steps in to fill a space left by Hugh Grant, who turned this movie down after expressing dissatisfaction with its script. But the Grey's Anatomy star effortlessly carries and delivers plenty of charm and likability that makes him a suitable replacement. Grant's character doesn't go unmentioned though, and his brief send-off is a surprisingly poignant one that feels quite befitting to this series. In smaller roles, Gemma Jones and Jim Broadbent return as Bridget's parents for a fun, if forgettable, subplot, while the always enjoyable Emma Thompson features humorously as Bridget's amused but straight-faced gynecologist. Having the director of the first film, Sharon Maguire, return for this installment was definitely for the best, as she is able to recapture what made the original story and the character such a hit with audiences in 2001. While several of the film's jokes and comedic set pieces can be predicted from a mile off, the important thing is that they still deliver plenty of hearty laughs. And while certain narrative points and turns can be familiar, it never feels like a complete retread. Bridget still has many of her trademark character traits, like pratfalls and speaking inappropriately at the most unfortunate moments, but her life experiences have also made her wiser with age. She's still lovably ditzy and accident prone, but she's also far less naive. And as the years have passed, Bridget has moved and kept up with the times, but she hasn't been updated in a way that makes her too contemporary, that her appeal or identity have been diminished. This can be evidenced in one rather amusing scene where she makes a cringeworthy attempt to sound hip and modern by making a hashtag reference, and in another where she attends a music festival with her best friend and fails to recognise Ed Sheeran standing right in front of them. As the big question over whether Mark or Jack is the father is set in motion, you'll no doubt have your own opinion over what outcome you prefer. With most of the focus going towards this pregnancy triangle, the film doesn't leave much time for Zellweger to substantially develop any individual chemistry with either of her co-stars. But since they have 2 films worth of history, viewers who have been shipping Bridget and Mark since the first film will most likely want the father to be him. But Jack proves to be a likeable match for Bridget as well, so without spoiling anything, both men are characterised in a way that should ensure satisfactory results, whichever side you're on. For anyone asking the age-old question, do I need to watch the earlier films in order to enjoy and understand this one? The answer is yes and no. Obviously, you will need to have seen the first film, but as for the Edge of Reason, I don't think so. This movie doesn't retcon or disregard any of the events of the previous film, and watching it does help add a bit more weight to Bridget and Mark's on-off relationship, but it doesn't share much close-knit continuity with it either. So if you really disliked the second one, as many seem to, I'd say you can bypass it and still enjoy this one just fine. And certainly more so. Bridget Jones Baby may be a safe and familiar film, but thanks to a funny script, endearing characters and an excellent cast, it's an overdue but definitely worthwhile and entertaining addition to the series. Rather than dare to break formula, it just tries to make it a winning one again after so long. And while it doesn't beat the first film, it certainly leaps and bounds ahead of the second. Fans of the series will definitely enjoy this one, and I'm scoring it a 7 out of 10. And that's the review for you on Bridget Jones Baby. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you've seen the movie, I would love to know what you thought, and how well you think it measures up to its predecessors. So please feel free to let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media if you want to keep up to date. Until next time, I'm Chris Wing, here to bring the review for you.